Hello and welcome to Scotty Hall on YouTube. Today I'm going to talk about a topic and a viewpoint that I think that will happen at the Night of Champions pay-per-view. It goes way back in history, and it's a little story that is based on the Bible and what happened and what I think and see with these characters just mixed and matched of what could really happen, with the little innuendos and the little hints that the main guys are playing and putting out there, and what I think will happen, because it's just giving off hints, and I really think that there's a bigger picture that nobody else is seeing, but I think that I've caught on to it, and I'm going to let you all know about it. CM Punk is a wrestler that we all enjoy watching. He is a gift from the wrestling gods. He really is. He has that old school flair and just a new school, edgy, ECW, hardcore feel to him. Everybody enjoys him. He's a great performer. And he has a sidekick that got him into the wrestling business in Paul Heyman. And these guys had a run for 434 days. They were the reigning, defending heavyweight champions of the world. And Paul Heyman says that as we were, but CM Punk thinks it was him. He doesn't really give Heyman he doesn't give him the credit that he deserves, because Heyman was the brainchild behind it. He was the brains of the operation. He's the one that made CM Punk realize how to turn the system around on itself. That's why you see all these pop bomb promos that he says, and just really talking in shoot form about the WWE. And Paul Heyman was the one that pretty much trained him and discovered him in ROH, and then brought him to ECW and let him do his thing. Paul Heyman is the reason that we have CM Punk, and just for the fact that they're even feuding and disputing makes you wonder what is really going to happen. Why are they doing this? Because Paul Heyman is CM Punk's mentor, the guy that discovered him, that brought him to the WWE. And if CM Punk doesn't have him, then what does he have to look forward to? I mean, he can go off on his own, but he really needs Paul Heyman. He said he always will be a Paul Heyman guy. Okay, if you notice at WrestleMania 29, CM Punk loses to The Undertaker. He comes out on Raw. He's really having a problem because he thought he was the best in the world, which is self-proclaimed at this time. He really proved that he can do it, but at the same time, he lost to The Undertaker. The Undertaker and the streak is bigger than wrestling. It really is. And when he didn't pass that feat, he felt like he wasn't good enough, so he had to go re-find his smile like Shawn Michaels did. And that's why he left and just walked away and hugged Paul Heyman. So Paul Heyman was going on without him. And then you see him come back, and all of a sudden the heel CM Punk has turned face. So Paul Heyman goes up and asks him, what's wrong with him and everything. And he says, I'm all right, Paul. And then he says, we're going to go out there tonight, right, and win the title back and everything. He said, no, you stay back here, Paul. You stay back here. I don't need you right now. I don't want you to make decisions for me. I don't need this right now. He turns his back on Heyman. Not really. He wants to do it on his own. He wants to go out on his own and show that he can do it without Heyman. And then they tried to say that when he fought Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, that they thought that he was turning on him. Heyman was. And Heyman was saying, I would never turn on you. I love you. I love you. I love you, CM Punk. I would never do that to you. And then CM Punk was feeling bad, and they had an issue on Raw, and CM Punk ends up hugging Paul Heyman and says that I'm sorry that I doubted you. He said, I love you like a son, CM Punk, Paul Heyman did. And then that's when you see the eyes cut off and it goes off of Raw, and the eyes of CM Punk are looking into the camera like, am I really doing the right thing? And then we get to Money in the Bank. He goes off and turns on CM Punk and makes him lose the Money in the Bank, a chance to go for the world title. So I don't really get why he turned on him, but it's the bigger picture. Paul Heyman actually turned on him and stabbed him in the back, and that's why we're getting all these promos from Paul Heyman now. And CM Punk, after Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman fought him at SummerSlam and he got involved with him, CM Punk was really having a hard time with trying to beat Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman. And Paul Heyman goes off and gets Curtis Axel now that Brock's left. And he comes out and he beats the crap out of CM Punk with a kendo stick. He said, I loved you. I murdered myself for you. I was a martyr for you. I love you like a son, but you have to be disciplined. That's what he's doing, is he's disciplining him. He's beating him to death for him leaving him. He hurt Paul Heyman. He felt like he turned his back on him. He said that CM Punk thinks that he's better than Paul Heyman, which he's not. And Punk thinks that he is better than Heyman. So that's why Paul Heyman was beating the crap out of him with the kendo stick. And he says, I will always love CM Punk. I will always love him. He is my prodigal son. Now here's where it gets really, really crazy. The prodigal son in the Bible was a story about a rich farmer that had two sons. And he had an inheritance set back for both of them. And he was going to give it to them when he felt the time was right. So he gave half of it to one son and half of it to the other son. The other son decided that he wanted the money right then, and he took it. And he left the farm, and he went off on his own. And then he started spending frivolously, traded off the mule that he left with, and traded it for the prettiest horse that he could find. And the guy that he traded the mule to, and the horse, he said the mule was worth more than the horse. But he said that crazy young boy ain't going to realize it. He's just wanting to spend money, so I sold him the horse and I took the mule. He bought the mule off of him. So he goes out into town. He says that money is not an option. I want to buy everything and just want to do everything and spend all the money. He spends all the money, and he goes off and has a frivolous and big-time lifestyle and everything, living the good life, while the other son stayed on the farm and helped his dad plant crops, helped him out, and done everything that he was supposed to and kept the money. So then the son realizes that he's ran out of money, and he doesn't know what to do because the other son is at the farm and he didn't ever spend any money. He never left. So the other son that went out in the town and learned on his own that he made the mistakes and spent up all the money, and now that he doesn't have any money, he says, I have to go home. And my dad is not going to accept me because I let him down. I went off and spent all the money, and I don't know what to do. So I'm going to have to go back home. I hope he accepts me. So the other son that spent all the money goes back home to the farmer. And he said, Dad, I really let you down, and I spent all your money. And I spent all the money, and I don't have any money left, and I have nowhere to go. I'm hungry, and I don't know what to do. And the father says, it's okay, son. I always love you. I'm happy you're here, so I want you to come on back. I'm just excited that you came back. You were lost, and now you found your way back home. That's what he's saying, is that in the Bible that a lost soul or a lost son will find the Father and come back to Jesus and God and all that stuff. It's like finding yourself and finding who matters to you. And they have an open heart. So the dad took back the son, even though he spent all the money. And the brother was jealous that he stayed there and stayed with all the, and put up with all the crop growing and everything and didn't spend the money. But he was happy to see his brother back too, because he realized the error of his ways and he came back. So that's the story, that he came back. So Paul Heyman is the father. CM Punk and Curtis Axel are the two sons. CM Punk is the son that went off and spent all the money and tried to do it on his own. Curtis Axel is the young one that actually stayed with Heyman and is learning the process of how to grow, how to do, how to train, how to become a guy like CM Punk. But CM Punk thought he could do it on his own. And when he got out there and realized it, now that he hasn't had any titles, he lost to Brock Lesnar, he lost to The Undertaker, he hasn't had any title runs or anything. He doesn't have Paul Heyman. So without the father, he has to come back and humbly apologize and say that I did the wrong thing. I can't do it without you, Paul. I need you by my side. I need you to accept me again. I did wrong. I admit it, and I'm sorry. CM Punk is going to apologize to Paul Heyman. That's why he's calling him the Prodigal Son, because it's the story of the Bible. It's the bigger picture. It's the you never should have left me. I made you, and now you thought you were too good for me, and now that you realize that it is not working out, you're going to come back to me. Because he said, I will always love CM Punk on Raw tonight. I will always love CM Punk. But I will never, ever forget every one of you in the crowd. And he said, if CM Punk gets his hands on me, this is the last time that you will ever see Paul Heyman. And it's not going to happen, guys. It's not going to happen. He was selling it on SmackDown that it was going to happen, but it's not going to happen. What is going to happen is that Curtis Axel is not defending the title. So CM Punk is going to lose to Curtis Axel. And then you're going to see CM Punk go to choke him or go to choke Paul Heyman. And he's going to say, ha ha ha, I guess we're friends. I'm coming back to you. I'm sorry that I left you. And they're going to beat the crap out of Curtis Axel. And then they're going to go for a title run. It will happen. If it doesn't happen at Night of Champions, it will happen. Either way, CM Punk will come back to Paul Heyman. It is the story. It has been written, and it will come to pass. It will happen. He will come back and realize the error of his ways, because without Paul Heyman, he's not going to be the CM Punk that we're all used to. You can already see it. He's already starting to cuss at the fans and do all that stuff. He's wanting to turn back heel, and he's going to do it. And he's going to do it with Paul Heyman's guidance. And Curtis Axel, it builds him up as a credible face because they turned on him. Either way, you guys know it's happened before with Flair and the Horsemen and everything. They're pulling the wool over our eyes. CM Punk will never leave Paul Heyman's side, and Paul Heyman will never leave CM Punk's side, because those two were meant for each other. He said, the first day I saw him, I knew that that was the guy. No questions asked. And it will happen again. They will be together. The only thing he has to do is come back home. I want to thank y'all for watching. Remember, we all have a video camera. We all have internet. We all have an opinion.